Okay, my name is James Williams Jr. This is Comfort Fabric number 2. So I just watched my reminder video. I got an old encyclopedia, excuse me, from my childhood, and it was published in 1972. So a year before I was born, there actually was this thing called books for all you young people who have no idea what the fuck a book is, and who are stuck on Google and etc. etc. Alright, so I was talking to a guy on Facebook, and he's part Pakistani, part Mexican, part German, part something else. I'm not putting his name out there because, we don't see eye to eye politically, but that doesn't mean we can't be friends. In other words, he's a Trump supporter. This has nothing to do with that at all. So I need to reach this to all of you people who watch my channel or don't watch my channel, or if you don't know. Alright, so first off, my ethnicity, for those who are new to Kung Fu Havoc number 2, and if you're on Kung Fu Havoc number 1, you need to come to Kung Fu Havoc number 2, because that actually had more followers. I am part Cherokee Indian, I am part black, and I am part white. Now, this young man in this group talk was talking about Mexicans and the caravan and the Trump administration and all the other stuff, and how he was for Trump, against the caravan, and all this other stuff. Now, let me drop this dime on you people real fast, alright? First and foremost, for everyone who doesn't know, we're going to say this one more time, that Native Americans initially came out of Asia. So, in this old-ass encyclopedia, it's highlighted in blue. Eskimos are also Native Americans, for those who don't know, because Eskimos kind of were like the catalyst to spawn the rest of the tribes to splinter down and out. I will show you tangible proof of that, not with the Eskimo dictionary, because it says something totally different. This is North and South America. Both of those maps are the same for those who need glasses. No, I'm not being a smartass. Alright. So, yeah, you have thousands of different tribes. By the way, this might be a two-parter. Depends on if I get interrupted or not. Now I'm going to go through all these maps of where the tribes were located. They probably will be in order in this book, so they probably won't actually be in order in life, because we all know that history is full of mysteries and shades of gray. Alright, so since I found the first map in this damn thing. Alright, so the first map is over there. Alright, if you look carefully, that's like the tip of Alaska. So we got over here and then we spawned it out. Up here is the greater region of Canada, and down there is North America. Alright, all the way to the tip, which is Mexico. And those little islands right there. Alright, so let me show you again, just in case you missed it. There's your map. Alright, so then you have like the west coast, and then, or the east coast rather. And in that area of the woodland areas, Mohawk and Cherokee are in there. My people. This side. See right there? Mohawk and Cherokee are in there. Alright, so you can see that there are thousands of tribes just in those two maps alone. So the maps get more unique. You get the plains and the middle Indians tribes. They're right there. Sure, you can't focus on it, but there you go. I'll go back to that first page to let you read the highlighted part about Native Americans being Asian. So that explains me. That explains my great-grandmother. And there you go. Those guys are close to Seattle and Oregon. For those who aren't geographically sound, no, because Seattle and Oregon are on that side of the coast. And before I get into the details and the guts and glory of the video, I'm giving you this for the guts and glory of the video. So you have two maps. See them? They're both in the west coast and the lower west coast. That there's like Baja and towards Mexico, if not in Mexico, before they were cut into the territories that you see on the regional map of North and South America. Okay? Down here, that's definitely Mexico and Panama and stuff like that. Then you go into the tips from, again, Panama and Mexico into South America. By the way, Aztec, Mayans, and Incans are counted in there. Then you hit South America where the Amazon is and stuff like that, all the way down to where Chile begins. Then you get Brazil and other places, even into further regions of Chile. You got scared yet? And here you have the complete table of tribes. Alright? So books are very inferential of information. Now when you read the highlighted parts, it's probably going to show up backwards for you. But right there, let me scroll up so you can get both. And now let us begin. So the guy is a Trump supporter. Again, that has nothing to do with this video. It's not here or there. I can still be friends with you even if we're not in the same political party affiliation or whatever. Because that does not make you any less human. It just means our views are very different. Exceptionally different. I don't always agree with everything the Democrats say. I'm more closer to Democrats than I am Republican. And if you want the truth, I'm probably basing right now more in an independent party. But I'm more Democrat than anything else. But sometimes the independents make more sense than both of them. So, there you go. But I'm primarily a Democrat. I have never voted for a Republican. Unless Abraham Lincoln counts, and I wasn't that old. Anyway, that being said, so we got into the discussion, this heated discussion, about how Trump really doesn't like people coming from south of the border. He wants to stop the caravan at Mexico, and he doesn't like Mexicans coming over either. And the guy was like, he's Mexican, but he's also Pakistan, and he's also German. So he's a triple threat, kind of like me. And he's a bona fide mutt, kind of like me. And he was talking stuff about how he supports Trump, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I hate to tell you, because first and foremost, for those who aren't informed, Mexicans are also Native American. Now, by law, if you're not born in New Mexico, but you're born in Mexico, they don't really let you count as Native American, even though you biologically are of Native American descent. Now, small history lesson for everybody south of Mexico. The Mexicans and the Native Americans, all from there to South America, only speak Spanish because most of the conquerization happened by Spain and Cortez in his quest for gold. And that's how their languages were pretty much wiped out. Now, for up here in the North Americas and the Canadian regions, and even Iceland and Greenland, where Eskimos also thrive, the Inuit and the other classical Native American languages was executed, and they were basically erased by the Europeans and the French. So for Canada, it was the Europeans and the French. For America, it was mostly the Europeans and then everyone else. The people from Scotland, etc., etc. We're not just going to go picking on races and why the Native American languages were wiped out. Now, the elderlies kept the language, but basically it was outlawed to practice it until they got on the reservation. Don't ask. It's a long story. It still needs to be fact-checked, so take it with a grain of salt. So we're talking. I was like, well, I hate to tell you, dude, but, you know, back in the 90s, when I was in high school, Donald Trump had this big, fat, clusterfuck battle with Native Americans because they did not look like Native Americans to him. And the guy gave me a picture. He doesn't really like a Native American. He looks like somebody who's mixed. Now, you can't really see the Mexican or Native American in him. You can see more of the Pakistan in him. However, I'm not a racial equality judgment person. If you say you're Native American, I'm not going to ask you to prove it because I'm still trying to prove that I'm just as much black as I am Native American. Okay? But I'm also white. So this is what you get when you get a clusterfuck and people have sex. Anyway, so that moving on. The guy, you know, he's a Trump supporter. And then I broke it down to him. I said, well, I can tell you, if any Native Americans are actually supporting Trump, it's probably because they were drunk or something. Something wasn't right in their peace pipe. Something went terribly wrong. Or somebody jacked their shit. And Trump has never been peaceful to Native Americans. Not in the 90s and not at fucking Standing Rock. Because when they were debating the Standing Rock thing, Trump swore he had no foothold in there, he had no business ties with anybody in there, and that he wasn't going to touch the order of protection when Obama was leaving office. Obama's last act as president was to protect Standing Rock. Our current administration's first act as president was to rescind Obama's protection order on Standing Rock. Henceforth, the pipeline is fucking happening. No, there's nothing that the Lakota Sioux tribes or any tribe really can do about it, because even though it's a violation of treaties and all the other things that the government had put in place to protect the Native Americans since 1924, when Native Americans finally got the right to be considered American citizens and have all the equal rights and protections under the law, because at one point you were not a Native American and an American citizen at the same time. You were an indigenous citizen of America, but you did not count as an American citizen. So, as fucked up as that sounds, you can fact check that. 1924, the Native American Rights Act. Go ahead and Google that shit. I don't have it in an encyclopedia. But it might be in there. I didn't go digging for all that. I only went to go dig to find out why my friend Inquan beat me back in high school on a bet that Native Americans were Asian. He proved me wrong when I thought that we were just from Atlantis. Okay, anyway, that being said, moving on. So I was explaining to the guy that if he goes and researches Donald Trump and Native Americans and the casinos in the 90s, Donald Trump was highly pissed off about the fact that Native Americans didn't have to pay taxes on their casinos. And the guy, one of his own people, another white man, told him, well, the taxes from the casinos goes to the tribes itself to keep the reservations going, which is why they don't pay taxes. And Donald Trump made a big stink, and it was all guns and guitars from there. And I was telling him, I was like, well, you voting for a guy who really doesn't like your people. The guy's also a Muslim, and he supported the Muslim ban. Alright, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I don't want to sound like a douchebag full of dick tips, but I gotta put my foot down somewhere. I understand you supporting Donald Trump. That's your God-given right as an American citizen. You want to vote for the motherfucker, knock yourself out. Alright, I got nothing to do with that. I did not vote for him then. I will not vote for him in 2020. So if any other James Williams is vote for him, hey, knock yourself out. But me and my father, that ain't happening. My father's dead, and you'd have to pay me $8 billion for me to vote for him. That ain't never going to happen. No one's going to give me $8 billion right off the bat. Now, if they do, I will honor my word. I can tell you that because I'm going to honor my word. I'm going to take my $8 billion and I'm leaving America. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere. Might buy my own island somewhere. Build a fucking wall. Anyway, so I was explaining to him, this guy does not like Native Americans. He doesn't really like black people, unless you're Kanye West, but he really doesn't like Native Americans at all. Because, there's videos of him talking to the Native Americans and people who were standing up for Standing Rock, and he swore to heaven and hell. There's a video somewhere out there on YouTube. Good luck at finding it. It's probably been erased by now, since he is the president. Of him telling the people, like the actors and shit, that were like really fighting to keep Standing Rock for the Native Americans, he straight told them, I have no ties to Standing Rock. I don't have any investments in Standing Rock. I'm not going to touch Standing Rock. 2 days in the presidency, Standing Rock rescindment order of protection is removed by order of President Donald Trump. That is an unforgivable thing to lie to the public when you're a public figure and then do exactly the opposite of what you say you're going to do, or not going to do in that case. You guys can Google it. Good luck with that. And then I explained to the guys, like, okay, before the group started getting mad, I explained to them, the fact that the president doesn't like Native Americans is just awful. So a lady in the group chimed in on how she wanted to come to the country. She's from the Philippines, and I said, well, I'm not going to advise you to come here, but you probably want to wait until the world gets its shit straight. When America gets its shit straight and everybody's right with the world and there's no people hating people because of their religion, because Philippines have a lot of Muslims too, and a lot of places have a lot of Muslims. And the guy spoke up on the Muslim ban, and I told him, I don't appreciate the travel ban at all. I said, I'm not a Muslim. I believe in God, but you can't blame every Muslim for 9/11. You can't do that. Because that's the same bullshit, which is why every person who's black is in trouble everywhere we go. If we go to the store, somebody thinks we stole something, even if we didn't. If we come in the store with money, like a wad of money, and the store detective is following us around because other black people have done shit, so now every black person is a suspect. Alright? So you can't blame every Muslim for the assholes that decided to fly some planes into some buildings. You can't do that. Or load up a truck and dance in front of Times Square with a truck bomb, or get on a plane with a bomb in your underwear that does not detonate. Know what the fuck he was thinking. But, talk about losing your virginity. The whole concept of the guy, he supported a lot of this shit that Donald Trump does. I don't hate the guy. And I try to tell him, you can't do that. I'm going to say, this is how Chinese people and Koreans and Japanese people were blamed for, like, Pearl Harbor. When Korea and China didn't have anything to do with Pearl Harbor, but every Asian person back in the 40s, if you didn't have proof that you were Chinese, you were in an American internment camp. Period. No questions asked. If you were Japanese, you were in that camp. If you were not Japanese, but if you look like them, which Chinese, Japanese, and Koreans, they're all fucking Asian, a lot of them were mistakenly put in those camps too. Now, whether their families want to admit it or not, and they probably met some good Japanese people there, but because of what happened in the attack on Hawaii, a lot of Japanese people were taken from their homes by us American soldiers and put in these entrapment camps. Period. And even though some of the Japanese soldiers were American born and served in the American Army, they had to go to the entrapment camps too. But because of judgment of Japan, anyone who was Asian was basically ridiculed. And then later in life, as we go down through the wars, the same thing happened with Korea when we had to go to Korea. The order is like this. Pearl Harbor attacks Japan, from Japan. We retaliate with Fat Man Little Boy on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing thousands. Alright? They killed hundreds, we killed thousands. Then the Korean War happened. So we got involved in that. I forgot what that was because I wasn't born yet. And then Vietnam happened. And I was born then, so everyone who was of Asian descent when Vietnam happened, it was just another vicious cycle with the same shit that happened in the 40s with Japan. So I was explaining to him how these stereotypes have led people who have no evil intent to be imprisoned for shit by our country because they are from that region of the world. A lot of Vietnamese refugees wound up all over America when they got here, depending on which way they got. If they came by boat and was gone to California, they were quickly shuffled off into wherever they went, and they went to refugee spots, and then they were transported all over the American place. So if you ever met somebody from Vietnam, like straight from Vietnam, and it's probably a quicker trip from Vietnam to California than it would be from Vietnam to Virginia. But they triaged all of the families to different parts of the world when people would leave Vietnam seeking asylum here in America. And if not America, they would seek asylum either in China or Japan or somewhere where it was not Vietnam. The only place they really didn't go was Laos, because Laos is just right down the fucking river. Now, if they did go to Laos, it was generally because they was escaping, and that was like the closest thing between Laos and Cambodia and stuff like that. Now that you got that fact out the way, the stereotypes of hating Muslims is what I was breaking down to them because of the Muslim ban and all the other crap. We can't do that. I will make a second video now because this is at the 15-minute mark. Excuse me, this is the 20-minute mark. It's 20 minutes of your life that you can't get back. This is Kung Fu Habit number 2. BC and you.